a lot, by the way. So,
well, that's how we open the show now. We open the show with Kalen telling everybody that he moves around a lot. So
got him. Got it.
we
got the
live. He just hijacked the opening. I was waiting for the thing to tell me that we were live. And then Kalen, just soon as it said live, Kalen jumped in with, I move around a lot.
I'm an old pro. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm a pro. Please, TJ, please.
This is live, man. We're not editing this. Like all of that polish y'all put on MageTalk.
Hey, the polish is all right here. You're looking at the polish right here.
Well, welcome to the Friday E-commerceaholic show. And today we're just going to chat about some, whatever comes up. But the topics that I have posted are, we have Imagine right around the corner. The announcement today that I will be co-hosting Meet Magento Netherlands with Rebecca Brockton. And then we're going to talk about the MageTalk Meetup and whatever comes up. And today I have brought an old staple here, an old friend. We go way back. So I got the Jack Daniels here. I'm going to have a little of that. I need to talk about the Big Damn Journey for the Big Damn Run at Imagine as well. Update the progress on that. I've had some setbacks, but I'm staying on it. I'm staying away from the beer. I'm going to get back on training.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves there, fellas.
Well, hey, I'm Kalen, and what do? I have a podcast I co-host called MageTalk, and there's a website called Commerce Hero that I run, which is kind of a hiring platform. This feels like a very stiff introduction. I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to do, but I'm done.
Loosen up, man. Loosen up.
I mean, all right. I'm trying to loosen up.
Are you drinking or what?
I'm drinking. Yes, it's coffee. I apologize. I'm not getting crazy with alcohol.
You're gonna get on the Texas beer, Kalen.
I know, man. I'm trying to get into this Texas lifestyle, man. It's, slowly but surely. Yeah.
Looks like you and Quentin could have done this from the same room, right? Y'all could have just.
We're in rooms next to each other.
We could. Yeah. High five.
He's on the other side of Quentin's on the other side of that curtain behind Kalen there.
At intermission, I'm gonna pop out.
The man behind the curtain. No, I'm trying to make it out there to your office. I've DM'd Karen like 16 times about it, but she's like, "Well, I'm in the UK next week, so can't see you then." Hey, when are you gonna come by the office next? And so I'm trying to get out there.
Well,
but
you can come by. You let me know, and I'll let you in.
Okay, all right.
You're right down the road. I mean, right up the road from us, so.
Yeah, up in Round Rock, Georgetown area. So yeah, so
go ahead and introduce yourself there, Quentin. We just kind of left. Like, let's just talk. Me and Kalen, we'll leave Quentin out.
That's fine. I'll just open my mouth. I'm Quentin. I work for Shipper HQ. I do the operation stuff. Shipper HQ, also known as project of web shop apps. This goes to show you never order 10,000 of something. Plenty of koozies, but we got Texas beer in here. Definitely always. Kalen,
hello. Time. Yes, sir.
I can write up
a crate of that.
Yeah, no, Texas beer, got that going, and then we've got some other beers lined up depending on how this goes. If it goes bad, I'll drink more. If it goes good, I'll drink more as well.
Speaking of never ordering 10,000 of something, I've got a whole damn closet full of shirts in there with logos on them that I can't give away.
The blue polo shirts?
No, they're not blue polos. They're T-shirts. But we were Oro partners and Magento partners at one point, and all that stuff's on the back along with other stuff. And it's like,
I remember that Oro phase. That
stuff's not even applicable anymore. So we can't give those away. I might have to just donate them or something.
You have to get a Sharpie and just put an X through it, and then it'll be like a comical thing. It's like, oh yeah.
No, it's going to be like the national championship shirts for the team that lost. You'll go to like Ethiopia or something. You see little kids running around with the, national champ. It'll be like Michigan Wolverines, national champs or something.
Right. Hey, merch is tough. Swag is tough, man. I not bringing anything to Imagine this year. No shirts, no socks, nothing. Yeah. I'm a one-man operation. So I tried that a couple years and it's so much work. Carrying shirts carrying shirts through the win. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one year I had like these 2 gigantic boxes that I'm, trying to carry and it's just no, it's work.
Yeah,
It's work,
I one time flew with about 50 fidget spinners in my carry-on. Man, you want to talk about a weird conversation with TSA? You walk through with that, and I forgot they were in there because I took them out of my checked bag, and they were like, "You know what's in this bag?" I was like, maybe." I was like, "Oh yeah, no, there's
it's the drugs. I think it's the drugs.
Yeah, we took a whole box of these through TSA one time as well, and they've got magnets in them. You use them like clips, and they're just cool. Garbage. But we had a whole box full of these things, and that's an interesting conversation. They called guppies. They're really for they're nothing. They're absolutely we actually hired when we exhibited at our first conference. We actually hired a consultant to help us, to give us some, to
a swag consultant.
Well, it wasn't just swag; it was a lot of things, booth design,
branding,
lots of stuff like that. And this is what he suggested we use as our giveaways, and I still have a ton of these things.
I never knew there was any such thing as a swag consultant. That's amazing.
I don't think that's what he calls himself.
Oh,
that explains your swag. That explains everything.
Let's just say he ordered too many.
Okay.
It happens.
Yeah, it does. From time to time, every time you order something, it happens. Just make sure whatever you order is evergreen at this point, right? Just make sure it's going to live on forever.
Yeah.
Next time somebody's, I guarantee you that conversation when Sweet Tooth rebranded a Smile, someone was sitting in the office and they said, "But we've got all of this crap.
We've got all these shirts." Yeah.
Yeah. What 100%. Are we going to do with all of these koozies?
They'll be vintage soon. That's the thing. Like the web shop app stuff, it's vintage now. It's a good look.
Totally.
We've got. I didn't even show you these, but we got about 8,000 of these.
Hey, grab me a couple of those. I've only got 7 bottle openers in the office. I could use a couple more.
I'll send you 600.
Okay, do that.
I could use a couple of those.
I will lay them on my desk and put them in the next live stream.
I'll get down with some web shop apps throwback swag. That'd be amazing.
See, I got you guys.
That'd be absolutely amazing.
So, man, are both of you guys going to be at Imagine, I assume, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That's the plan. That's the plan. So
how many years in a row is this for you guys?
You got to ask one person at a time. I'm not trying to tell you how to do what you do. You know
I know. But
so
you've got this. You've got this. Yeah. You slow play the answer, and then I think you're petering out, and I jump in with another question, and then you continue.
It's because you say, "Hey guys," so I start to answer, but then I'm like, "Well, I should have given Quentin the chance," So you just gotta direct.
Okay. But
that'd be beautiful. But no. So I'm getting in Sunday, and we're trying to get a MageTalk Meetup going on. So got to figure out a time for that. Super casual. We're not going to pay for anything. We're just literally going to pick an hour and say, "Hey, show up here and let's hang out for an hour." Super you know what I'm saying? That's my thing is I'm not good at planning things, events, or anything like that. So just a meet and greet.
Like you're some sort of celebrity.
You're signing autographs?
Signing autographs. You know what I'm saying? We'll be doing selfies for a small fee and stuff like that, so it'll be fun. But yeah, so try to do that.
You said you're doing this Sunday?
We haven't picked a time yet. Phil. So here's the thing. Phil just gave me his schedule. He has a whole schedule, right? Mr. MC. He's kind of a big deal now. And so I gotta work around his schedule, find a slot in there, and then talk to his people, have my people talk to his people, get something finalized. So we'll figure something out. But maybe Sunday. I was thinking maybe before pre-imagine, maybe just what is pre-imagine start? 5 o'clock?
Yeah, you've got the partner summit. You got the partner summit that afternoon as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I got to sit down and do some spreadsheeting. I got to figure something out. Yeah. So, yeah, man.
Speaking of your people talking to other people's people, is it just me or is there 2 Quentins on here now?
Quentin just duplicated.
I am trying to build my presence.
Holy cow. I bet Karen's happy. She's like, if we could only get another one of you Quentins, we'd be
I've been
able to
working on this for
double our
years.
growth.
I've been working on this for years. No, for whatever reason, it just kicked me out. As soon as we started talking about other events, it was like pre-imagine. Don't get the guy sponsored. I was like, oh, maybe I won't talk about that.
Well, your other, and I don't know if it shows on the live stream, but for us, it's, in our Google Hangouts, it shows all of the speakers at the bottom. And right now, Quentin shows up twice. Now, one of them is frozen, but it still was very startling when you just popped up in exactly the same position with the exact same expression in another window there.
It felt like a scientific miracle. I mean, it was pretty darn close to that. But yeah, so pre-imagine, you guys always put that together, right?
Yeah, we've been doing it the last couple of years. So we were doing 5 to 7 at XS. It's gonna be quite the shindig. So we're excited about that. It's gonna be a fun year. We've got can't give you out too many things, or the marketing team will kill me, and I'm very afraid of them. But yeah, it'll be a good time.
And I will speak. He is very afraid of them. When I'm like, Quentin, you want to come on the live stream? He's like, I really need to talk to the marketing folks and see if they will allow me to do this.
I did ask him that. I was like, hey, I got to run this past some people. They're very stern. There's a list of people. Like, I have a do not cross list in life, and the marketing team, every single one of them is on like a be on your best behavior
on the list. Wow, that's crazy. I thought you guys kept it super cash. I imagined you guys were like really casual.
Well, it's just me. I'm just kind of I'm a liability sometimes.
He said some dumb things in the past, and now they make him run everything by somebody.
Trying to rehabilitate my image. It's like, I'm gonna go talk to TJ about fun stuff. But no, it's gonna be a good year. So, how many years of Imagine have you done, Kalen?
I think this is maybe the 5th or 6th, something like that. And so yeah, it's pretty much the only conference I go to. People are always like, "Hey man, you going to Shop Talk? No. You going to this? No. All I do is Imagine. That's it. Keep it simple. Specialize, focus, one single event. So yeah, I think 5 or 6, and always got to go to pre-imagine. It's the #1 event in my opinion. Every year beats the conference itself hands down, especially when Karen's out there.
It's fun for that community aspect, because I think that's one of the things that's cool about like the Magento community more so than other e-com platforms, is that it's a reunion every time. It's like a new family, old family, they all come together. And so one of the most exciting things is, seeing the familiar faces like you guys, and then, the new people coming into it. Cause this is my 3rd year for Imagine. So kind of, starting to knowing some of you guys and starting to know some of these young people. So it's a really fun group to be in, is like that group of when I came in, cause there's a lot of really, really cool stuff. And that's kind of when the M2 thing kicked off. So it's super excited for this year.
It's cool.
Yeah, now this is my 3rd year as well.
Oh, is it really?
And it's funny because this is the first year I'm starting to notice how many new people. Like, you start to you see a lot of the same faces, but I've kind of felt like I was new the last 2 years. So I'm really just now starting to notice how many people that I've never met that seem to be coming to their first Imagine.
Yeah, it's always a mix, definitely always a mix. Now we got to try to get you in a little bit of trouble, Quentin, because you mentioned you're walking on thin ice already. But you said Magento is unlike the other e-com platforms in that the community is super friendly. Now I know you guys have been getting in deep with Shopify, BigCommerce, right? Do you want to go on record saying Magento is the best conference community hands down? Or are you going to walk that back a little bit when we ask you to?
I'm going to interject. Before you answer, I asked him to come on here. I said I wouldn't get him in trouble. I promise that
he said he wouldn't get you in trouble.
And so
I will say,
I'm sorry, you can refrain if you need to.
No, I will say that the Magento Imagine conference, there's a reason why it's considered to be the biggest e-commerce thing for a particular platform, because if you have that community and that aspect, as a company, we're platform agnostic. As a person, I'm platform agnostic, but I'm very excited for the next couple of weeks to be at Imagine.
Walked it back a little bit. But I got to respect that. You got to cross your T's and dot your I's, but no, that's cool.
That's what I mean. The events are always the best. I mean, we went to AU Live, like the smaller events. You know, I'm definitely going to go to Meet Magento Netherlands now that old TJ's over there as the co-host. I'm definitely have to make that now.
I
What day
need
is
to make
it?
it. I need some home field advantage, man. We got to get some folks over there. You know, I think Danielle is going to be speaking. She's in the chat there.
Okay.
So, you know, a few people I know, which are great. The more the better. The more the merrier.
I got to get on my chat here because is it easy to get on the chat from my I'm going to try to figure this out, see if I could it's so hard to multitask though when you're doing video. You know what I mean? It's tough to figure out, do I chat? Do I stay focused on the convo? That's the struggle, right?
It is tough, and that's usually why I try to have a couple of people in here other than just me, because I do try to read the chat in case someone has a question. And oftentimes we have technical conversation going, so that we want those questions. And I've been playing around. I mean, I've been doing it every week for a couple of months now, so I'm just getting decent at it. I've got a monitor set up kind of beside and behind the camera, and I've got it zoomed in real close so I can see you guys, and I've got the chat pulled up on a phone. You got to understand that Kalen, when I asked Kalen, he sent me a writer. Like, here's the requirements. I have to be able to do.
We had some requirements. Yeah, we had a few requirements.
Yeah, I negotiate.
Yeah, you got to be able to negotiate when it comes to TJ. TJ, he'll negotiate your shirt right off your back. You got to watch out with that Alabama charm. But no, I might be the most difficult guest you've ever had. We've tried to schedule this a few times, but hey, we made it. We're here, right?
Got it. Yeah, that's all that matters, man.
That's all that matters. We get there in the end, sipping coffee and Jack.
I love good Jack Daniels. I do. I you know, as far as whiskey goes, I've been trying different things every week, and so people probably think I have a lot of bottles of whiskey, and your answer would not. Yeah, I mean, I used to have a lot of bottles, but I drank them, and then of course,
there's someone hitting the fridge.
DJ's raiding the fridge back here on the live stream.
Hey, who's
that's
DJ?
$5. That's $5.
Yeah. Jump on, come on, DJ, come over here.
It's gonna cost money.
See, he's just going after the water. DJ has been video editing for me.
Oh, hey, what's up, D? So you're the one responsible for the video game that TJ's been bringing, stepping up his video. Did he help out?
A lot of the hard work.
Did he help out with the pharmaceutical spoof video?
Yes, he did. He did all the editing on that one, I believe. We've got Emma over here as well that does a lot of editing for us. She's waving, even though she's not on camera. I don't think she's figured this out yet.
Does DJ know how famous he is for that particular video? I don't know if he can hear me.
He can't hear you. He can't hear you.
He can't hear anything. He's like, what are these white dudes doing waving their hands around?
Yeah. He was just asking. He asked if you knew how famous you were and if you had done the editing for the pharmaceutical commercial.
Oh, I don't know how famous I am, and I will do any editing that I am at.
Yeah, you got to let him know, man. You made TJ famous at the sales kickoff meeting with that video. That was
he did that one, and he did the Dilly Dilly one we did as well. All by himself.
That one was good.
All of that one.
I don't know if I've seen that yet.
You haven't seen the Dilly Dilly? See,
I got to
promote better. I got to
homework.
Good to meet you, TJ. Sorry to bug you, man. All right, DJ. His name is DJ, and your name is TJ?
All right, got my headset back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so his name is DJ, and you're.
Yeah, we recycle names, man. We go through names. We go through Gary's and Will's and DJ's. That's how when we interview people, I know you're going to work out if we've already used that name somewhere.
What's your name? Is your name John, Gary, or something with a J in it? No. Okay, we'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by.
This is not. Yeah, we've never hired anyone with that name. I'm sorry.
You know, you look on paper, you look like you could be great, but you know, we're not seeing
it's that name. I can't get past that last name. It's on a J, not a middle name. Can't shorten it.
Yeah. But I remember when I asked you where the name of the company came from, which cracked me up, which was that it's basically your name, but you just change one of the letters, right?
Yeah, my TJ stands for Thomas Jamerson, and I have 3 last names: Thomas Jamerson Gamble, and the Jamerson is spelled Jamerson, and I hated that name growing up. I'm from a small town, people were named like Mark and Chris and Jeff, I mean, just
and Kalen, a lot of Kalens out there.
Yeah, no Kalens, but very,
Kalens.
very basic names. And I had this weird, 3 last name setup. And so I hated it growing up. And when I got older, I'm like, it's unique. It's different. Nobody's really using that, but the domain was taken. So I did Jamerson Design is what I called the business. And it was Jamerson Design for a while. And then I just wanted to shorten it. And I'm mediocre at design. So I'm like, why do I want design in the name? I'm a developer. And so I was trying just different versions of it. The A version, SAN, was available. I was like, that's it, done. Now everybody thinks we're a Japanese company. They're like, Jameson, and I'm like, no, not really. But hey,
Jameson.
Jameson. Yeah.
That's so funny. I was thinking the other day about how, you can think a lot about picking a name for a business or product or whatever. And I was thinking about how, so Remember the Milk, right, is a really popular to-do app. You guys are familiar with it? It's a to-do list app called Remember the Milk. You guys never heard of it? It's super popular.
I've heard a lot of things. So I need to remember.
You'll have to take my word. Yeah, it's.
I'm gonna get that app, and I'm gonna have it remind me to remember the app.
There you go. There you go. But it's obviously a really silly name. There's another one called You Need a Budget. Have you guys ever heard of that? A lot of people shorten it to YNAB. It's an online budget. Okay. All right. Anyway,
no, we're simple. We're simple, guys.
There is a niche in the internet where those are pretty popular, but I was thinking to myself, those are the silliest names. But it really just comes down to execution, and so like, it's just a totally random thought that like, it's really all about the execution, the brand that you build, the beautiful backlit, logo for damn, that thing pops so nicely. Anyway, it's just a random.
No, you want a name that's unique and brandable, and it can be weird, it can be long, it can be whatever you want it to be, but it just needs to be unique and brandable. And then it's all about what brand you build around it. I mean, you don't want something with negative connotations or doesn't imply what you do. But Jamerson doesn't imply that we do e-commerce development. But it's, it does sound kind of firm-ish, like that sounds like some sort of firm that would do something.
Yeah,
it's a strong name.
Absolutely. Shipper HQ is obviously a great brand, beautiful brand. Were you involved in the rebrand from Web Shop Apps to Shipper HQ, or was that?
No, so that was a little bit before me. So I was brought on for kind of the beta launch of Shipper HQ, so that the logo was already set, the name was set. But there's a funny story that I'll tell people, because people will say, where did Shipper HQ come from? And so depending on who's on the room, I'll tell people that Shipper HQ stands for Shipper, Hannah, and Quentin. So I'll tell people that Hannah built the front end and I did the back end. So we put our names together. And to people who have no idea who Web Shop Apps is or kind of our story, they're like, oh yeah, it's really cool. But for other people, they're just like, man, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Did you build the back end? Or you're back end? Oh,
God,
you just completely fabricate. Like, there's no truth at all to that backstory. It's just,
to be honest, I actually don't even work here. So
he's a liar. That's what he's saying. He is a complete and total liar.
I'm in a Panera Bread. right now.
He got fired after last year.
Dude's in a Panera Bread impersonating Quentin from Shipper HQ.
Hey, someone's got to do it. No, but that was one of the interesting things. I mean, because if you're changing the name completely, and there's kind of that fear of, when, do you throw away this name, or when to transition? So it's always a really interesting thing, and that's what I mean. The cool thing is you get some vintage swag out of it, but kind of going through that rebranding process was pretty fun. The first year at Imagine, I think that there was a little bit of education. So you kind of say, oh, formerly Web Shop Apps. Now that's not something we say at all. We're Shipper HQ. Right. It's kind of an understood thing that
everybody's familiar with it now. Yeah, and I think there's still some of the Web Shop Apps stuff out there. I think the blogs. Sometimes I'll see blogs go up on this. And there's still some. It's still there in a certain capacity, but yeah, I mean the Shipper HQ brand is super strong, and I actually had a customer that was getting ready to install it just the other day.
Oh, nice!
In fact, yeah.
So how many names did you go through before you landed on Commerce Hero? Like, what was the dry erase board scratching names out?
That's a good question.
And what was the weirdest name that you wanted to go with but you didn't go with?
Weirdest name that I wanted to go with. You know what, man? I think it was relatively straightforward. The reason why it's easy for me is because I don't care about the .coms. You know what I mean? Everybody wants a .com. I could care less. I get the .ios. I get the .cos. I'll mess with a .us or a .biz. So, I'm just kidding about the .biz, but
The .ninja.
but no, dude, .ninjas are expensive. I looked at some .ninjas. I think they're like $90. .ios are like $40, something like that. So it makes it easier when you're not like trying to find a name that isn't taken in the .com space. So I think commerce. Okay, so here's the story. So I built something called Mage Hero back a couple of years ago. It wasn't so much of a commercial thing. It was kind of like an open source hackathon thing where I was like, let me make a list of all the Magento developers. And that was sort of one of the initial precedents to Commerce Hero. So that was Mage Hero. And then I was like, I gotta, as you said, I gotta be platform agnostic. I'm not really platform agnostic. I'm still pretty deep into Magento, but I wanted to have a brand that could expand, to other platforms so that, so commerce is one of those words that's kind of trendy right now. It's been kind of trendy the last, I don't know, couple of years or something like that. Magento rebranded to Magento Commerce, I think. Everybody's getting on that commerce bandwagon. So I don't know. It was just, so in that sense, it was kind of an easy pick for me.
As far as the term commerce goes, I mean, even when I was thinking of branding this channel, we went with eCommerceaholic. I definitely had a big debate as to whether or not to use the term e-commerce or commerce. And I just feel like most people still use the term e-commerce when they mean e-commerce, right? So, and I've tried to shorten it. That's a really long name. And I tried ecom a-hole for a little while, but I just feel like that gives off the wrong connotation.
It's strong. That would have been strong. If you want to talk about coming in with some strength, e-commerce a-hole. Wow.
Yeah.
It would set you apart for sure. Like if that name came across, do you want to be on the e-commerce a-hole podcast? You're like, or live stream? You're like,
well, we're already having debate.
Check with marketing. You would have to check with marketing for that one.
We're already having debates about the e-commerceaholic, and we're drinking on the Friday show, right? So the aholic, and you're having alcohol-fueled live stream on Fridays. There's already some, maybe we need to think this through a little bit, but it's okay.
What do you mean? How so?
Well, just aholic is like alcoholic. You talk about, addiction and things like that. And
like it's too much of a negative thing.
There's a lot of people that are very, very touchy.
That's true.
I'm not real big on, being offended, and I'm definitely not trying to offend anybody, but I pretty much do e-commerce 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I enjoy drinking every once in a while. So the name seems to make sense.
I think it's pretty fitting.
Yeah. I think you got it. I'm a big fan of being yourself, and doing what's natural. And I think you really, are doing that. And, I think it's authentic when it comes out like that. So it's, it's pretty. I remember when you were thinking about rebrand, you're like, well, I might rebrand my Twitter account and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, leave your Twitter account as your personal, just as with OG TJ or something like that. But then you changed it, and I actually really like it. I think it's working. So,
hey, it got me the co-host of.
Got you the co-host of
right?
So that's right.
It must be working. Must be working. If nothing else, all of these videos I put out are now worth it, just because I was able to sucker Guido into letting me co-host Meet Magento the Netherlands. He has no idea what he's in for.
All right, so what are you bringing to that? What kind of Southern charm are you bringing to that Meet Magento event in the Netherlands?
See, I don't even really know. It's like co-host. I'm like, do I need some jokes? Because I've got some. I got some jokes. Or am I literally just going to be, and the next speaker is going to be Danielle Munder. Isn't that how you pronounce it? Munder. Yeah. I don't know if she's still watching.
It's shout out to Danielle if she's watching. Big fan of Danielle, as she knows, but I believe it's pronounced Munder.
Are you being serious, or
I'm not being serious? I'm not being serious.
And I think
I'm sorry.
I completely and totally butcher people's names. So Mundla. She's posting a
Are we gonna loop
Mundla.
her in? Do you ever just loop people in on the
Heck yeah,
fly?
you want to jump in,
like
Danielle?
a caller?
I want to
pretty
loop
good.
Danielle in because
Yeah, she was on here a few weeks ago.
she's a big YouTube star in her own right. She has her own YouTube channel. She's a heavy hitter at the UX department at Magento Inc. out here in Austin. So I would love to have her on the show.
Yeah, I'm going to send her a link if you want to join. That's cool. I'm about to. I'm looking through my Twitter DMs for your name there. I'll just
here's what I can promise you about your questions about being a co-host at Meet Magento Netherlands. When you ask Guido, whatever you ask him about what you're supposed to do, he'll respond with a short, cryptic answer because that's how he responds to everything. So
okay,
you'll say like, so I need to have jokes, and he'll say something like, what do you think? Something very, that's how he rolls.
He's in here now. Look at him. He popped up. He's going to comment now. He's going to comment now. We might want to get him on here too. We need to talk about that.
What you really got to do, TJ, as far as managing the chat and stuff, if you could get somebody that tweeted out every time we mentioned somebody in real time, that would pick up. But you really have to have like somebody dedicated to, man, it's tough. It's tricky. We should pull Guido into here too, because he's a fun guy. We should just get this thing popping.
Well, I just sent via Twitter, Danielle and Guido, you get online, you could tell me. I sent both of you links to this Hangout if you want to jump in. We've only got 11 viewers. We might as well have them all on here talking at the same time. Hey,
by the time it's all about the long tail, TJ, as you well know. So we may have 11, but by the time that long tail gets done, there's going to have been 7,000 people that watch this.
Oh, it'll post online.
I believe that.
Honestly, this is how I look at the live stream. I don't really care how many people watch it. I just want to talk to people I like and have a good time. So if we hang out on a Friday and we can chill out and have a good time, and people watch us, great. Hey,
let me do this.
That's why I raised my hand instinctively. I felt the need to instinctively raise my hand.
On a Friday and we can chill out and have a good time. Hey, you're gonna have to mute. You got to mute the live stream there.
Yeah. You got a whole mess of feedback.
Oh. Sorry.
There we go.
All right, there we go. Yes.
I was watching.
Pro tip.
I'm listening to myself 30 seconds ago.
Pro tip, if you're watching the live stream while getting on the live stream, mute it, because you're going to get some sort of inception going on where you're hearing yourself a minute ago.
That's all right. How you doing?
I'm good. I already drank my e-commerce beer. We went to lunch. We had a beer at lunch. It was one of those days. So
okay.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. You can only have one beer a day.
I'm trying to make an excuse for myself why I don't have a beer right now. So
okay.
I don't even know technically per TJ's rule system if a beer at lunch counts. I get the sense that it has to be an afternoon drink.
That's a lunch beer. That's a different thing. A lunch beer is like an afternoon
completely
beer.
Different category. It's a completely different thing, Danielle. So
we don't even call that beer. We just call that lunch.
It's like the coupon that tells you no previous purchases. I think that's kind of like those rules, right?
That kind of thing.
No previous beers count for the e-commerceaholic beers.
No.
Correct. Now I'm drinking coffee, so I'm cheating. So me and Danielle are both breaking the rules together.
I don't have any beverages, so I'll fix that.
Are you in Austin there as well?
Yep. Yeah, I'm here in the Magento office. Kalen, if I would have known, that would have been so cool. You could have come here and we could have done a thing, but I don't know. We don't have a fancy microphone, so.
Thank you.
I know.
Well, I was talking to Eric there about the setup. He was mentioning that you guys need to get a more professional video for this kind of thing. I sent him my setup, exactly what I've got here.
Yeah,
Magento's got the cash. Beat him up about it.
Yeah, we're waiting on budget approval, so we'll see. Fingers crossed.
The key, I'm telling you, is that backlit logo that TJ has. The thing pops like nobody's business.
Well, heck, they got neon Magento logos. I can't compete with that.
You can't compete with that. So once you guys roll that out, you guys are going to be on top of the heap. So Danielle, I actually don't know what you do as far as UX goes. I'm curious, like what do you work on day to day? I don't know why I'm asking you now, other than that we're on the live stream together. But like, is it the website? Like what are you working on right now?
Right. I think that's one of the misconceptions that I get a lot is that people are like, oh, you do UX for Luma or Magento.com. What the UX—
there's so many different properties and things, right?
Right. Yeah. What the UX team focuses on is Magento products. So making sure that things make sense in the admin panel. I don't know, maybe I should take that back. But not really. But like, you know,
the admin panel is looking great.
Yeah. Well, you know, I can't take any you know, props.
That was a hesitant. Yeah, that was a hesitant.
No.
All I do is try to get people in trouble, man. I'm horrible. I'm sorry.
It can always be better. You know, that's that. But no, we really do think about, you know, workflows, what people are working on. Do things make sense, you know, from a functional way? So I think what I do is mostly in sort of two categories. You have mostly feature-driven research, which is like, hey, we want to do this feature. Let's make sure that we don't implement it in a way that doesn't make sense, that we'll have to go back and change it later. So a lot of discovery, how people use similar things, how people, you know, interact with interfaces that we're considering, things like that. And then also just sort of baseline discovery research. How are people using Magento in the real world? You know, how does order management work with, you know, MDC, and like what are those dynamics? Who's actually in the admin panel at a merchant? So just some of these things that we're trying to learn from the community so that we have a better understanding of who's actually out there using it, so we can make it better for them.
Very cool. Very cool. It's a very strong answer.
Well, I have to explain it a lot. UX is kind of one of those things that's a mystery for people that are a little bit outside of that world. So
it's true. You're so much smarter than us. We're over here talking about neon logos and stuff like that.
No, dude, I love that neon Magento logo. It's pretty snazzy. I'm jealous.
That's user experience, though, man. This is user experience.
It's creating delight.
Speaking of this whole YouTube experience, I have been enjoying your YouTube channel, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that, TJ.
Not Kalen. I haven't been enjoying Kalen's.
Kalen's mine?
Channel's good, too. You have one? So I didn't even know.
I should. I feel like I should. There's 3 or 4. I'm going to have to throw one up.
You should. But Danielle's been posting on her big damn journey there to run at Imagine, and you know, they've been, you know, really kind of short, raw cell phone videos, something I actually thought about doing, but I didn't want to set up another channel, and it didn't really make sense on this one for me. But I wished I had seen yours, because they have been great to watch and very inspirational.
Well, that's great. I was just like, you know what? I need to commit to something to motivate me to actually follow the plan. And it worked for about a week. I've kind of fallen off of it now. I had to come back. I had the call out right from MageTalk, so I had to come back, and I'll try to at least post a few more before the actual run happens.
Are you ready for the run?
In Austin coming up, so we'll make a video for that.
That's how MageTalk gets you, right? You do something and it's cool, and then you start waning and you're like, I'm tired of doing this. And then they give you a little props for it, and you're like, damn, now I got to do that again.
Sprinkle some props, sprinkle them out. It's not planned, though. It's all spontaneous, you know? So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but that's cool. I mean, everybody's into running. All of a sudden, it's all about running. The whole entire world is about running. It's all it is. I'm not a big runner. So
me either, but I'm trying. I'm making an attempt to be a runner, but my big damn journey got a little sidetracked last week. Apparently I overdid it. And the problem is my calves don't want to tote my fat ass when I'm trying to run at any sort of significant pace. And so my posture got off, and I started putting more weight on my heels when trying to run, which caused lower back problems. So it feels a lot better right now. I'm going to wait till Monday before I try it again. But it definitely cost me. I was on schedule to make it all the way through the 8-week program, and now I may be walking the run, but I'll be there. I haven't registered yet, but I need to do that.
That's the most frustrating thing. Like me, I hate complaining about it because you sound like a wuss when you do, but my ankles are just retarded. And so, things like that happen when I try, so that's the most frustrating thing when you want to do it, you have the motivation, but then your body just is like, nope, that ain't happening. So, but yeah, I mean, but that's, I guess you got to find what works. Like I've been trying to do an exercise bike, which is easier on my ankles and stuff like that. And, I wish I could get into running because it'd be cool. Run through the city, run through Austin, say hi to Danielle as I'm running down the street. But
knowing Kalen, though, he went and ordered a Peloton and put it in that mansion he just built there in Austin.
Sweating to the 80s. No, I was thinking about it and thinking about the Peloton. What are they, $2,500? And I cheaped out and I got $170 top rated on Amazon bestseller though, Amazon choice. So it's a nice little.
They paid me to make all those reviews.
Yeah, they paid you good money for that. But yeah, no, it's a solid little bike. Gets the job done. The Peloton looks super interesting though. I've heard several people mention it. Tim Ferriss, I heard on his or I want to say Tim Ferriss. A couple of people have a buddy that got a used one. So those look pretty cool.
Yeah, I heard somebody. I forget who it was. I think Tim Ferriss they are advertising on his podcast at this point. But somebody's like the market for the used ones. Like you can't find a used one. So apparently, people who buy them like them because there's not a bunch of them flooding the used market out there.
I think it's a commitment thing. If you spend $2,500 on a bike, it's like I got to ride this damn thing.
Right. Got to take out a second mortgage on your bike. That's when it's time to get serious. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that's a big gym membership right there.
Yeah, it is. So there's a gym. So I'm in this new community in Austin area. There's a gym, there's a pool, stuff like that. I was going to the gym a lot, and then I just got tired of it. I don't leave my house. I stay in the house. We got this new house. And it's, there's more space here than we had at our last place. Now we got a real heavy hitter in the house. Anyway, so I just stay in the house, man. I don't leave this place for like days at a time. And it's fun. Holy cow, there he is. Guido. What's cracking from the Netherlands?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I felt that one.
In a world
where Kalen builds AI bots to conquer the Magento world.
You're like scary good at that, dude.
That's super impressive. I'm really impressed.
Do that for like the whole rest of the afternoon. Just feed Guido lines.
We'll make everyone speak in their radio voice.
Normally, I have Adobe to do this, but now I have to do it by myself. That's a bit hard.
Adobe does what for you?
It helps.
It does it helps with the recording, or
no, the thing after. the recording is just 1 hour, right, for the podcast, and then there's 5 hours of
the post. Oh yeah, right. Got it. You don't seem like you need any help with the post production though. You sound amazing.
I don't need help. I can do it myself. What?
DJ just asked. He's like, ask Guido if he'll do the channel trailer introduction for the YouTube channel. So I'm like, I'll hit him up about that.
Yeah, maybe.
So my interns were very impressed.
You have interns there? Turn the camera.
Yeah.
Well, I can't.
He's an army of them.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to go off camera here. Hold on.
Yeah, he's got a whole. I think he has two interns. He's not messing around.
How many interns do you got there, Kalen?
Me? Let me see here. See how many. Any interns? Any interns over here?
Well, I think I saw. Aren't you doing like a mentor thing? I saw on LinkedIn. How's that?
Oh, yeah. So I put some feelers out to see if I could find a mentee. I've gotten 2 emails from people, both of which I responded back with some follow-up questions, and then they didn't respond. So I currently have 0 bites, 0 active bites to be my mentee. I thought I was going to be overwhelmed and overloaded, but apparently, I'm not. Nobody's that interested. So now
Follow-up. It's so key.
I feel kind of sad. Yeah,
People need to understand that. It's how you close deals.
it so is like, dang it, Guido, you had to take it there. No, it is like follow-up. It's like, God, like half of what I do is getting people to follow up.
All right, so I turned the camera to show you guys the interns, but then I have to come talk on the mic to make it the main focus video, and the mic's way over here. So it just didn't logistically. It did not work out.
Take a picture.
It wasn't very well thought out, right? I did not think it through.
So TJ, you build $250,000 complicated technical website builds, but you can't flip a camera around and show Guido a couple of cool interns. Is that?
Well, I don't want to mess my setup, and then here's how we do this. Here's how I got an idea. I got an idea. We're gonna try something different here.
I got him when I gave him the $250,000 builds. I got him.
I know he's right here. Look at this. Watch this.
I got it in his head.
Oh right.
Hey.
Look at there. Look at there.
Oh hey, multi-camera, multi-angle.
See if we can turn, and I don't know if you can see under the lights there. See, I've got lights set up like this is my setup here, right? The camera, the screen, the lights, and then
behind the scenes.
We got Will's a developer over there, and then these Wave Emma, and DJ over there.
I literally can't see
Emma.
anything.
I don't know if you see them. Hey DJ, flip this light off for me. Flip this light off. Yes,
yeah, and get a beer.
Chop. This light. Flip this light off.
I said now. I said now, intern.
Now you can see. Okay.
Oh, they are.
There they are.
They're like, holy cow, these webcam people are annoying. We're just trying to get some work done, get the day wrapped up, go get a Slurpee, and
man, they're college students. They're going to be drinking here in a little bit themselves.
Guido, can you explain your thinking process in inviting TJ to co-host Meet Magento Netherlands? Like, were you
drinking
a
what do you assume there was a
amount of alcohol at the time, or?
Well, speaking of alcohol, I do have to admit that I'm cheating right now. I don't have a beer, but I do have a Bloody Mary. Does that count?
Hey, that counts. I have Jack Daniels. We even dropped the beer and e-commerce name. I just dropped it. This is the e-commerceaholic show because I don't want restrictions around what I can and can't consume on Friday afternoons.
How inclusive of you. Every alcohol beverage.
Anything,
hey,
whatever.
He's from Alabama. We're all about inclusivity in Alabama. Just so you understand that.
I feel like he's being sarcastic with that remark, but it's
you can
not
never
as bad
quite
as you
tell,
think.
right? You can never quite tell when I'm being serious or not. No, but seriously, come on. Explain this. Also, TJ had some questions for you. He was wondering, how does the co-host thing work? Does he need to have jokes prepared? Should he come in with some strong socialism-based jokes for that particular help him out a little bit?
Let's see how this is how this went. And I was invited. It's like, hey, why don't you come over to the Netherlands? We got Meet Magento, and then they popped up the UK, and they're like, we're going to pay all the expenses of speakers. And I'm like, well, that sounds interesting. And he's like, well, what about the Netherlands? You didn't seem that interested in the Netherlands. I'm like, but I might be able to do both, if I can, kind of make that trip, although it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But we talked about it back and forth, and he's like, well, I've got this kind of, have you ever hosted a conference like this? And I'm like,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, I'm honest. I'm like, not really. I mean, I speak at meetups. I don't really have a problem with it, but I haven't done it. I did speak at Meet Magento New York last year. And he's like, well, I've got this, little thing I'm doing here in the Netherlands that we're looking for a host for. Let's see what we can do about making this happen. So then 2 weeks later, I'm like, what do we, are we still on for that or what? He's like, yeah, I thought we had already settled this. I'm like, no, you left it at, let's see what we can do to make this happen. Not this is going to happen. Let's solidify this deal. Let's close this deal.
Guido keeps
I asked around for like 20 people. You're the only one responded, so I thought that was
it. Guido is a low-key killer, man. Oh my God!
I'm the only sucker that said yes.
This is the 10th year that we're organizing Meet Magento in the Netherlands. So usually what we did is hire a professional host for the day that had nothing to do. They were not in the Magento community. So that worked out nice. But I think
you ran out of budget for.
No, no, it's not a budget thing. But I think it's. Also with getting speakers on board, I think it's nice to get people in the community, to get them on stage. I mean, we don't have commercial talks that much. We have maybe 2 or 3 commercial spots by the main sponsors, but that's it. And I think it's good to put community members in the spotlight that have been contributing to the community for the last year, right? So. And so we were looking at our options and asked around a bit, and yeah,
very nice.
And I'm going to make an American Idol joke here, so I don't know if the international audience is going to get it, but I'm trying to figure out whether or not me or Rebecca Brockton is Brian Dunkelman and which one is Ryan Seacrest.
I think she's Ryan Seacrest. Pretty sure.
You may be right. That's my fear. That's my fear. And for those that don't know, that are watching that don't know, American Idol, its first season had 2 hosts. And the second season, they kept Seacrest, and he's gone on to international fame and fortune. And Brian Dunkelman is probably homeless somewhere right now.
Oh, that's just like Philip and Kalen, where Philip is now the host of Imagine and Kalen gets stuck.
Yes.
That's the same thing, right? It's the same. That's what you mean?
Yeah. Kalen.
Fire.
God.
Guido is on fire. You can't mess with Guido, man. Yeah, he's assassin. When you think you got jokes with Guido, he gives you that smile, and then he comes back and stabs you in the face. He's good.
I don't know what you mean. I don't completely understand your language, so that's.
No, that's. Wow, I'm still reeling from that. That hurt.
So we're looking for members that want to contribute. That we think we could do this, and it's not their daily job. That's not. But I think it's cool to have genuine community members doing this, and of course, then we do want to have good hosts. It's okay if you don't have. If you're not hosting an event every week, but people that are at least comfortable enough to speak to an audience and that are a bit funny. So TJ and Rebecca were on the top of our list.
By the way, Kalen, David Deppner drops in the chat. He says Kalen has now been relegated to guest appearances on shady YouTube channels.
What is it? Everybody wants a piece of Kalen on their way down.
He got both of us with that one, though, man. He jabbed both of us with that one.
That was a good one. Who was it that said? Was it Phil that said that? I think Phil said that.
So
no, there was a sorry, MageTalk reference inside joke. Yeah, no, I completely lost track of what we were talking about. But so Guido, so. What's TJ gonna do? Like, is he?
Yeah. What's the job? What does this look like?
Read off a prompt. Yeah. Help us out. Walk us through this a little bit.
You've been to events, right? You know what a host does. I think.
Yeah, but some events do it a little different than others. Like I can go up there and say the next speaker is going to be this person, and then I'll butcher their name.
We're all gonna be at Imagine, so I thought that would be a good place to talk through it. With Rebecca, but the idea is that for the main part of the main track, so where everyone's in one place, the keynotes, then we have both Rebecca and TJ on the stage, introducing the speakers, making some jokes. If you have one, that's fine. We'll prepare those.
He doesn't have confidence in your jokes, TJ.
let me see your jokes before you say them, please.
He's going to have to run them by the marketing department first to get them approved.
We'll just start with beers at 3 a.m. The beer starts at 3 a.m. Then it will be fine once the event starts. And then we have two tracks at the event. So our idea was to have TJ at the business track and Rebecca at the developer track, and again hosting it, introducing the speakers, and helping the audience ask questions or ask the questions that the audience doesn't dare to ask.
Nice. I get
and of course there will be a dance. Yeah. Did I mention that?
No. By the way, I'm going to need a ticket for my wife while we're at it. I might as well go ahead and get that out there.
Yeah. Sure.
Negotiation. See?
Yeah, we're going to negotiate live right now.
TJ will negotiate your shirt off your back with that Alabama charm. I'm trying to tell you. Trying to tell you guys. Guido, so what time is it out there, dude?
10
p.m.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going to get me. I'm flying in on Tuesday, so I've got a little bit of time to recover because I've never flown that far, so I'm not really sure how bad the time zone's going to get me.
Well, it's worse over here than going back home. So,
okay,
just something to prepare for.
TJ, how's your Dutch?
Some water. I'll be right back.
Well, and this is, I was concerned about the language barrier. Not so much that they don't speak English. I'm just afraid my English is not good enough for them.
Yeah.
Like they speak much better English than I do.
Well, ask Danielle. We had Danielle in the Netherlands for a meetup in Rotterdam.
You're going to want to figure out how the tram works so you're not almost late to your own meetup.
I'm staying within walking distance.
Okay, well then that's perfect. Also, FYI, I started the Dutch Duolingo last night, and when you start it, they ask you, "Oh, let's do a test to see if you can test out if you know some Dutch." And I'm like, "Let's see if I know some Dutch." I made it through the first, I knew enough, I guessed enough things to get through the first module of Duolingo Dutch. So I guess that's something. I thought it was pretty funny.
I had exactly the same with English, so.
Yeah.
Now the question is, now you've got me nervous. Should I be putting effort into learning some Dutch phrases, or should I just go in there blind? Yeah. Damn it. I'm totally regretting inviting him to this at this point.
Trying to tell you, dude.
That was so good. That was so good.
He's killing me.
Guido he's a killer. He's a stone cold killer. Hey, but so Guido, you got a new house, right? You're renovating, doing a bunch of stuff on the house.
We got the keys in 1st of July last year, and we're still busy. It took a while to get a contractor on board anyway to get started. It took 3-4 months or something.
Wow.
But right now the floors are getting in next week, and then it's basically almost ready to move in. So I think it will be the 1st or 2nd week after Imagine that we move in.
Nice, man. For some reason, I thought you were moved in and working on it at the same time. But
no, gladly, no.
That can be tricky.
That's how us poor people have to do it.
Yeah.
That's how they do it in Alabama.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. No, I rehab working on a house is tough. We were like, you know what? We don't have we don't have what it takes, the stamina. So we got something that didn't need too much work, but that's the way to do it. Cause then you can get a better value overall and for your money. And
when rebuilding, you mean?
Yeah. You buy a little cheaper and then.
Yeah. So that was the whole idea. So you buy a relatively cheap house compared to the neighborhood, but then level up a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how old is the house you're renovating? When was it built?
1959. Okay. And the crazy thing is that we are the second owners.
That sounds a lot like our house. Our house we're in was started in 57, finished in 59, architecturally designed, and we're the second owners. We bought it about 5 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice. Wow, that's really cool.
So it's apparently a place you can live for a long time, both for you and me. So that's a good sign, right?
Well, mine's about to go for sale in a month. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, well, I've got the house here in town that's 21 acres, and then we've got a little land outside of town, and we want to build something smaller out there because I've learned a very hard lesson with my wife's family, and is that if you have a room, someone will be sleeping in it. So I I get rid of my entourage.
Now you tell me.
Cut in half. Yeah, my entourage gets cut in half if I build a smaller house. So
there you go. Or when they mention it and say, "Hey, TJ, we're coming to town," you go, "Yeah, here's my link to Airbnb."
These people live in town in my house.
Oh, they live in town, and
okay. There are people staying there all the time. I mean, there's no, I'm coming in town. We've never had a guest room. We have some guests. I have a guest house in my backyard, but people just live in it. Right? There's always somebody living in it.
Are they going to hear this and get mad at you for saying that?
I don't give a damn.
Nobody listens to this. That'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to hurt somebody's feelings. They know. Yeah. They know where I stand, man.
They know where you sleep.
See, now I brought the mood down. No, it's fine. But my mother-in-law lives in the guest house in the backyard, and she's looking for a place. So we just want something smaller. I'm from the country. I grew up in a town of 200. And, I mean, this is a big geographic area, but there's only 200 people in it. So living here in this city is 35,000 people. The city next door is 70,000 people, you know. So it's basically an area of about 100,000 people, and I just want to be outside of it.
Makes sense.
I prefer the country. A little more space just to make a mess. No homeowners associations or any of that jazz.
Right.
So basically, TJ is telling us that he doesn't want to be around people, and that's why I asked him to host the show. That's basically.
I like people. I just don't like my neighbors. I want to know my neighbors. If I want to know my neighbors, I don't want to have to see them every day.
He likes being with people with short, defined increments of time.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I like you people. That's why I invited you here.
If they're using Magento, then it's okay. That's the
selection. That's the cutoff. That's the cutoff.
One person every 25 minutes. So, you know, you can't speak for too long. It's like that's the max.
One person like every 25 minutes. It sounds like a UX research day.
I think Guido is probably the smartest person in the Magento community. No. I have a hard time keeping track. He's got a sharp mind. Also a very beautiful man. I'm not going to lie. You could be a model.
Yes.
You could be a male model.
I was.
Were you? Because I know you were a swimmer. Though. You were an Olympic swimmer. Not many people know that, right?
Yeah, because it's not true. So
you were a competitive swimmer. National.
Definitely.
Quentin just made that up. Quentin just made that up for him.
Yes.
I have your Wikipedia page. So if you want me to add anything to it, just let me know.
You're live updating Wikipedia right now with all the information coming from this.
Yeah. And you're in.
Okay, tell us a bit about your bot. Your AI
my butt.
Bot.
Well, it's firm. I'd say it's probably a B plus.
BOT.
Solidly in the B plus category. A minus on a good day after exercise. What else can I tell you?
Emoji monkey.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not sure where this conversation is going.
It could not be anything more disgusting than that.
I need more alcohol for this conversation.
I'm not convinced Kalen isn't drinking. Like, I think there was Kahlua in that coffee, and I think that's a glass of vodka.
That's the funny thing about me is that I get so funny that it seems like I'm a little loopy, but I'm not. Anyways, well, we got to figure something out, Guido, because that's a really interesting idea, the agency selection. So me and Guido had this conversation on LinkedIn about some kind of a voice application or Alexa skill or bot around picking an agency.
So I shouted out just a stupid idea, and then Kalen responded very seriously. So I just went with it.
Yeah, he was like, let me say something stupid to get this stupid American to say something. And then stupid American got all excited. No, but like I think that, you know, it's funny. There's a lot of ideas around voice apps, Alexa skills, chatbots that can sound kind of cool, but when the rubber meets the road, you know, how, you know, so you were just messing with me the whole time. You weren't even serious. That's good to know. Thanks, Guido. Thanks.
That's by default. Yeah.
See, I told you, TJ, it's by default.
Yeah.
He's just giving you these short,
cryptic specifically for you, Karen.
No, but it's not. It's with everybody. You just toy with people. You toy with people's minds because you're
what psychologists do.
Absolutely. You're on this other level. Absolutely. And you just toy with our minds. Like, you know, like
Yeah. But what's up with the you keep asking for business ideas the last couple of days. So what's you're getting tired of what you're doing?
I'm brainstorming.
He's looking to capitalize on someone else's creativity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
I'm just
not a
brainstorming.
developer. So that's fine. I just put out, but maybe ask for problems instead of just ask for cool stuff to do with voice.
That's true. Yeah.
No.
I mean that. Yeah. It sounds like you're telling me something funny to make fun of me, but it's totally true. Like start with a problem and build this as opposed to, this is a cool technology, let me build something for it.
Yeah.
I think
on the other hand, if you just say, okay, this is a cool technology, I want to develop my skills, and that's the way to go, of course. Then you see, you already picked, okay, I want to go this way anyway, so might as well.
Yeah, but if you're going that route, if at the most you're going to maybe develop your skills, you're not going to really build a useful product if you're taking that tack. Actually, to make things a little more relevant to the whole e-commerce thing, one of the people that responded to me about ideas for voice was a guy that has a client that has like a lobster e-com website. They sell lobster, and he said they've built like 20 Alexa skills for things like recipe ideas and stuff like that, which it sounds like an obvious use case, but I think that's the kind of thing that makes sense. Like, yo, Alexa, how can I, she's going to start talking to me. How can I, give me some lobster ideas, or, pick your, retail category. I think that's probably something that makes sense.
There's a lot of fun things out there to do with audio, but I just don't have. I mean, I'm sure. Like, how many people are saying what's the recipe for lobster, and then they go order lobster? Like, I would have the lobster sitting there in front of me, having ordered it from somewhere else. I get a little confused as to the actual usefulness for a lobster retailer to have an Alexa skill to find a lobster recipe. I guess, unless the skill somehow leads you down that rabbit hole.
Until we can order lobster and it arrives in 5 minutes, it's not that useful.
Well, exactly. No, and in this particular case, I'm pretty sure that what he meant was it was a value add for existing customers that had already bought the lobster. So it's not a way to sell the lobster, but it's like, hey, you've bought lobster with us, and he said it's increased a lifetime value for them. So yeah, that's that seems kind of neat, but.
How does it work though? So does they is it location dependent, the answer from Alexa? So that they can, if you're in California and the shop is in California, that it only looks at Californian shops, and then does that work well, or how do you define that?
Like, do you have access to do you have access to location data from within? If you're building an Alexa skill, you mean? Like, do you have access to that? That's a good question. I know very little about the actual APIs, but I think I want to say you should. I mean, they must be tying it to an Amazon user account. So I'd imagine.
I've done nothing with Alexa, so I have no idea how that would work. Just a question that popped up.
Yeah.
Have you done anything with voice, Danielle?
Me? Sorry, I'm also working here.
She's done. She's out.
Yeah, she's out.
I'm here. I'm letting you guys carry it away. No, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Me personally, I can't speak to Magento or where they're going with those types of things. I think it's interesting. I feel like it needs to wait. I think there's so much that can be more refined with voice, I think. And I think it's still just finding its, use case. Like, so many people say like, oh, I just set timers and just like ask the weather to like my Google Home. And until it's like, what's going to be that thing that really takes it to the next level? I'm sure there's power users, but like, what's going to be that next sort of thing we all do with the Alexas and Google Home? So I personally haven't really looked into it.
So Quentin, as far as shipping, are you guys doing anything? Can I say, hey, Alexa, where's my damn package? And it'll tell me where it's at.
There's a company that does some things like that. So they're doing a lot in the AI space, but we don't really get into that. So we're pre-order, so it's not post-order. But Steve Yankovic gave a talk at might have been one of the smaller Meet Magento events. But he talked about the clickless buying, about using an e-commerce, of using that. And so instead of, kind of like a virtual assistant coming up, but using that voice recognition to go through purchase. So I think that is definitely something, kind of like Danielle said, that, until it kind of finds like the person to champion that's where I think I could see people using that. As far as like ordering the product, and saying, hey, can I buy this product? Yeah, because there's like restrictions and stuff like that. Like that, I think when that technology comes out, we definitely get involved in that. Like the lobster thing that Guido mentioned, like you only want to ship a lobster to a certain area. Like that kind of stuff could be applied to that. Like that logic could go through as you order that.
But Kalen, didn't you mention last week on Twitter that like 1/3 of people already have a voice device in their houses, in their homes?
I don't know. It sounds roughly like
something you tweeted.
Like I could have imagined tweeting that.
1/3. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did see somewhere the adoption curve for audio devices is more accelerated than the adoption curve for mobile devices, which of course is pretty insanely accelerated when you compare to something like desktops or PCs. So yeah, I think it is. I think that it's pretty intense. And yeah, I mean, I've started to use Prime Now. Do any of you guys use Prime Now for? Holy cow! It's mind blowing.
Speaking of voice devices, I've had this thing. Nice. I've ordered this like 3 months ago to shoot a video, and then we never shot it. Right. So I'm going to open it here live. This was supposed to be a video we were shooting for just like a little comedy skit, but I couldn't find anything particularly funny to do with it, Magento related. So, but
what is it?
It's an Echo, but
it's an Echo. Okay.
It's a special Echo, right?
Special.
It's one we call. Let me if I open. It's one we call the Red Pizza. And
the Red Pizza.
It's actually wrapped like a natural light can.
So, is that what you're asking about the beer thing a while back? You said what's the best, cheapest beer, or whatever it was?
What's the most redneck beer? So this thing is actually wrapped. I don't know, the light's pretty bright on it, but it looks like a can of natural light.
Nice.
So I've been trying to think of something funny. What redneck thing could it say to make fun of Shopify? And I just haven't come up with anything yet. So
nice.
We'll figure it out.
Hey,
but I've been wanting to get out of it because the Echo Dots sound like crap.
Do they? I just got one. I thought it was pretty decent, but I haven't messed around. I mean, I haven't done too much with the audio. I just turned my lights on and off with it last night, which is pretty fun. But I apologize. I got to get running. Actually, I got to wrap up some email. Believe it or not.
Well, I appreciate you being on. I mean, like I said, we've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. So a couple of things I wanted to go over. We've got some meetups coming up. For anybody that might be watching, we've got meetups in Charleston, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Jacksonville, Florida. The week of the 8th, I believe it is. I'm trying to pull up my calendar here. I wasn't prepared. Kalen just called it quits on me. Right in the middle. So yeah, the 7th we're in Charlotte, or the 8th we're in Charlotte, the 9th we're in Charleston, and the 10th we are in Jacksonville, Florida. So I enjoy those. If anybody happens to be in one of those geographies, I doubt anybody is watching from one of those places, but I look forward to seeing you guys there. And of course, Meet Magento Netherlands is going to be a good time. May 8th, May 9th, Gary's posting here now. So, we got Meet Magento Netherlands, which is on June 1st.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us a few details about that. If you need to drop, Kalen, feel free.
Yeah, I'll see you guys, man. Great to talk to you guys.
Okay.
Hey, Kalen.
Bye.
And before Meet Magento Netherlands, we have Imagine, of course.
Yes, definitely. I was gonna trail with that one at the end, but
I'm sorry.
That's and probably more of the audience would be. I'm assuming most of the folks watching are US based, but if you have a chance to get to Imagine, absolutely get to Imagine. there are Meet Magentos in just about every country in the world, it seems. I mean, they're all over. So I guarantee you there's a Meet Magento near you. And if you happen to be in or near the Netherlands, well, that's going to be the best one because I'm going to be co-hosting.
Exactly.
Right. And then you put me on stage with someone with a British accent. And I don't know if it applies worldwide. I'm assuming it does. But here, if you have a British accent, people automatically assume you're smarter. And you just gain, literally, you just walk up and you say, hello, I'm British. And you get like 20 IQ points right off the bat, right? And then I open my mouth and I automatically deduct 20 IQ points. So it's going to be fun to see how that
already works. It's already funny in the basic setup.
Yeah.
You don't have to be, you don't have to act funny.
So,
trying to make it easy for you.
Yeah. Well, that was my jokes. So that now I'm out of them. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Just bring that bottle. It'll be fine. Yeah. Speaking of, by the way, so your audience is mainly US. I think there's also a New York meetup upcoming.
Well, there's Meet Magento New York. I think
not necessarily Meet Magento. I think it's a New York. It's a meetup, just a Magento group meetup on April 11th. So in 4 days.
Cool. And I think we've got the one in South Florida coming up as well, which Kalen should have been pimping that one for Philip.
San Diego, June 12th.
There's a lot of Magento meetups. And for those that don't know, meetups are usually smaller. You might have 10 to 20 people at those, sometimes a little larger. Meet Magentos is going to be bigger than that. How many people do you expect at one of those? A couple of hundred typically?
Sure. I don't want to scare you.
You're not going to scare me, man. I don't care.
We've been growing each year, and last year we had around 550 people.
Nice. Okay. So I was just thinking about the ones in the US, like Meet Magento New York. I want to say there were 200 or 300 people there. So, those are a little bigger. And then you have Imagine, which is typically about 3,000 people total. So there's Magento events everywhere. If you're involved in the community, there's opportunity for you.
Those are great opportunities. Like the meetups, they're small. It's easy to get to know the people and talk about anything. And they're, like you said, they're everywhere and they're probably near you. So just go to meetup.com, search for Magento in your area, and there's probably going to be someone organizing it. Or if not, organize it yourself. Even more fun.
Well, that's what we've done because there are no meetups in the southeastern U.S. outside of Atlanta and South Florida. So we have the one in Birmingham, Nashville, Tennessee. We did Cincinnati, Ohio. We're now doing the Charlotte, Charleston, and Jacksonville.
And that's one of the insane things about the Magento community. I think there are so many meetups around a product, which basically has a commercial company behind it, right? But there are so many other commercial companies organizing meetups for that product, and so many enthusiastic people just doing that, just organizing meetups, events, Meet Magentos. I think that's insane. I don't know any other community doing that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on this call. I mean, Danielle, you're going to be at Meet Magento, but you get to a lot of the events as well, right? I mean, Magento really lets you travel.
Yeah, and I think it was sort of something that just sort of happened and unfolded. I think before there wasn't a lot of research happening and sort of made the case for that. And now that we've reached sort of, critical mass with this, it's so much easier to go out and build those relationships with folks in person. We do a lot of research remotely, and cold calling is not usually your best bet to get people to contact with you. So I've had a lot of really good success at conferences, doing sessions there and making relationships. So I think that's why it's grown.
And Quentin, I mean, you're just about everything I'm at. So I know, I mean, Shipper HQ gets around.
Yeah, we host one of the meetups in Austin, which we actually had in Magento's office back in January or maybe February. I don't know. I've run a couple conferences then. But yeah, no, I mean, like Danielle said, I mean, Magento and eCommerce helps you travel. I mean, I've gone to Australia, the UK, all these places you could travel and, talking about something. Kind of to Guido's point, a company brings that network together. And, you know, the companies sponsor these because that network helps out in just extreme ways. I mean, we get feedback from customers, you know, we get product ideas and things like that just from, you know, beer and pizza and sitting around talking about e-commerce.
Exactly.
My favorite things, man, beer, pizza, and e-commerce. That's all a person needs, man. That's all a person needs. Yeah. What else do you need? Really, you don't need a fancy house or nice cars as long as you have beer, pizza, and e-commerce.
And a good backlit sign. I mean, that thing's great.
It always plays, man. It delivers every time. And I've got the 28mm lens on here, and I've got the aperture turned up, so we've got just a nice soft blur on it, you know, so it's not quite in focus, you know, so you pay attention to me and not the sign too much, but it works, man. I'm very proud of
the sign. You mean?
Do what?
The Jack Daniels sign. I keep looking at that one.
Yeah, this is the more important sign.
That's where his eyes are drawn. Mine's to the light. This is the booze.
Yeah, you know, I like this sign, and I like this sign because of, you know, how cheap it was. It really it does a good job. It's really great for the backdrop of these videos, but it was really inexpensive, and I always enjoy getting great deals on things. And I had this made. It's just like the desk here. We have desks made out of reclaimed pine, and I actually went to this same company. This company made a brand, and we burned our logos into the desktops, which is actually where I found this company that made this sign for me.
Nice.
So we have a brand, and we joke that we're very serious about branding, and that when you get a job here, you know, we gotta, you know, we hold you down and burn it into your back. But, you know, we lost a few potential employees because of that joke. So, you know, we kind of don't say that anymore.
Except
I thought those interns didn't want to see that be on camera. They're like, no, we don't want to.
Yeah, well, once you're on camera, you got to get the brand. So.
Oh, okay. So that's why you got it busy after this. Then you got a few new people.
Well, you know, it calls. Yeah, every once in a while you got to call the herd, man. So you just threaten to brand them, and they move on. All right, guys. We've been on here an hour and a half. You know, I appreciate everybody joining. This was just kind of an impromptu session where we just hang out. That's what we do on this thing. You know, it's just hang out and have a good time. Talk to people that I enjoy talking with. I've been trying to figure out a way to recreate hanging out at Imagine at Parasol Up after the end of the event. And that's pretty much what this is. And sometimes we talk about serious stuff, and we have serious people on with serious technical conversations. And sometimes
not today.
We just hang out, right? I like the hangout ones better than the actual legitimate conversations, honestly. And this one was an experiment in having like 4 people or 5 people on at one time, which, you know, seems to work. I do feel like sometimes we went about an hour with Quentin just sitting still there. But, you know, we did what we could, man. So, all right. Well, we're going to call it quits. Guys, if you're on the stream here, the ones that are actually on the stream, just stay on. And I will talk to you guys next Friday. And I appreciate you watching.